Yes. Give you guys about a 3-minute warning. We'll get started in about 3 minutes. kid-friendly event. We're live. I'd like to welcome everybody to 2024 International Overdose Awareness Day, Charlotte, North Carolina. Thank you guys all for being here. This event has transformed into a tremendous gathering of locals in recovery, as well as resources in recovery, celebrating, remembering, commemorating those we lost, as well as celebrating those that are continuing to recover. I always like to start this event with prayer. If you guys would stand, we're gonna open and ask God to bless this. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we come to you humbly, just seeking guidance, Lord, seeking peace, serenity. Lord, we thank you for everyone who's gathered here today. Lord, we thank you for the souls that we'll remember. We thank you for the people currently seeking recovery. Thank you for those that are on the way. God, we're grateful to you for your grace, for your mercy. I ask that you would be with me and guide this event, that it would honor you, and that we would honor those that we have lost, Lord. We ask these things in your Son's name. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. So I always like to begin this event by sharing some of the things that I've learned, kind of just looking at statistics and numbers and stuff. And it's not because I like those, but they are staggering. The tagline for this year, and as you've seen on your shirts, if you purchased a shirt outside, says, "Together we can." And then on the back, it says, "Time to remember, time to act." These are things that they focus on each year. They usually have something that is a theme for International Overdose Awareness Day. Together we can is pretty simple. However, it is powerful. I cannot save anyone. However, we do recover. Nobody gets sober on their own, at least not to my knowledge. I haven't witnessed that yet. But with a relationship with God, through fellowship, through connection is the opposite of addiction. Through connection, people do recover. And together we can make a difference. Time to remember, time to act. We're going to get to that. In North Carolina this year, nearly 4,500 people were lost to overdose. In 2022, we lost 111,000 people. More than enough to fill the Panthers Stadium almost 1.5 times. Some good news came, though. In 2023, we had a slight reduction to 107,000. And although that does not seem like a huge reduction, 4,000 more people are alive. That means we are making a difference, and I celebrate that. Absolutely. To put that into perspective, some of the things that I share, and unfortunately you guys have probably heard this before, but again, these staggering notes tell us just how deadly addiction is, just how deadly this drug fentanyl and the way that it works. Nearly 130 people die every day from an overdose. That's one person every 11 minutes. That means while we have been here gathered at this event, multiple people have passed. And I'm just not okay with that. As we look at the pictures, the slideshow that's been put together, and thank you guys who sent me those through Facebook, through text, and we celebrate and honor those people. But I don't want to lose anyone else. I'm tired of losing people to addiction. I'm tired of going to funerals to people 20, 25, 29 years old. I'm tired of having to tell children they do not have their moms or dads. This is serious stuff. The business of recovery is serious stuff. And so many organizations that I know do incredible work were here today. And I will reach out and, I will share some of those here shortly. But if you didn't make any of those connections, please grab some of those cards. I know that there's somebody else out there that needs help. Our first speaker is a dear friend of mine. I've known her for some years, and I knew her son for some years as well. Tonight we're going to have Ashley Hart. Ashley Ledoux and Taylor Hart coming to introduce Jessica. So if you guys would come up.
There we go. Thank you, Josh. I want to start by thanking all of you for being here on a Saturday night to take the time out of your day for such an important cause to honor those that we have lost due to substance use disorder. I also want to thank our planning committee for all of the hard work everyone has put in and all of the organizations that were involved that made tonight possible. Before I introduce Jessica, I want to kind of piggyback a little bit on what Josh was saying about how this event started. I think it's a perfect representation of this year's slogan of Together We Can. When we first moved here in 2017, there was no event on this day that took place yet in the city of Charlotte, and those of us that were on the board of a nonprofit organization called Michael's Voice thought that that was insane. So we had a dream to start an event on this day to honor those that we had lost. The founder of Michael's Voice was Betsy Ragone, and she was Michael's mom, and she had a mission to shatter the stigma and to spread awareness and support those that had lost loved ones. And so it's absolutely amazing to me to stand here today in front of hundreds of you when 7 years ago we had maybe 50 people show up in a small church to support this cause. So I want to thank you guys for being here. Thank you. In addition to that, all of us that were on that board have since opened all of the resources and logos that you see on the back of your shirts tonight. And that's such an amazing thing for our community that all of these recovery schools, treatment facilities, sober living homes are now available for people that are trying to seek recovery. So I think that's a testament to Together We Can. I want to introduce Jessica Beard. I didn't think it was going to happen that soon, sorry. I had the honor of knowing Corey through my work at Carolina Center for Recovery. I feel so blessed to have known him. He was one of the most beautiful, kindest souls that you would have ever met. And if you know him, or if you knew him, you know that. Jessica Beard is the founder of Corey's Love, and she is Corey's mom. She has started Corey's Love with her family, and their mission is to spread Corey's love and story and to help folks that are seeking recovery by sharing with them Corey's story and providing them with resources and home-cooked meals, and her family volunteers and does that for our clients at CCR, and we're so thankful for that. As a person in recovery and as the mother to a son, I admire Jessica's resilience and compassion and dedication for to be able to stand up here tonight and share Corey's story. So with that, I give you Jessica.
Well, I can tell you this is all God, because I do not do public speaking. But good evening. I'm here today, and I'm very honored to be with you. I'm so excited to see such a large crowd for such a very important event. I believe that it is critical that we spread awareness to save our young adults. In 2019, my son and my husband came to me. They asked me to sit down, that Corey had a problem. They began to tell me that Corey had started what would be considered very heavy drugs. I learned as a mother of 2 boys to be careful of my emotions, because they affected my sons very strongly. So I put on the bravest face I could muster, and I told him that he needed to go to rehab. I knew that our lives would change dramatically. I was not familiar with drug abuse. I had seen it on TV. I had seen it walking up and down the road. And like many, I just didn't understand why they continued in that lifestyle. So, like most stuck in addiction, my son wanted help, but he was not ready to go to rehab. So, for most of 2019, I watched my oldest son slip away from me. It was at that time I knew what it felt like to grieve and mourn a living child. Let me tell you something. Addiction don't care who you are, how much money you have in the bank, what color skin you have, how many friends you have. It grabs a hold of you tightly and never wants to let you go. So close to the end of 2019, with a judge's help, Corey was on his way to recovery. He went to an amazing rehab in Matthews called CCR. After that, he went to a sober house, Anchor of Hope, where he stayed clean for an additional 6 months before relapsing. From that point, Corey continued to go in and out of jail and in and out of rehabs. During that time, I only told some close friends and family members, because I believed that people did not have compassion for drug abusers. And I knew my son was going through enough without feeling the shame of his addiction. I started to realize a few years later that silence was not the answer, that we needed to spread awareness. So that's what I slowly started to do. Corey never lost his compassion for others, no matter the cost to him. One example of this is in 2022, Corey was hospitalized for a few months. During that time, he told a friend that he would be returning back to Boone. He did this, and he sacrificed the comfort of knowing that he would never be hungry, he would always have a home to go to. But the reason he said he did this is because he could not stand to see his mother suffer from his addiction. I often and truly believe that a mother is only as happy as their saddest child. Corey's suffering ended on March the 13th of 2023 at the age of 23. He laid in a friend's bed for a day before being discovered. You may not believe this, but somehow I knew on March the 14th something had happened to my child. The feeling was so overwhelming, I told a coworker I was scared to answer the phone. But I received a call at 5:15 from my youngest child. He stated that the police were at home waiting on me, and I instantly knew what they were going to tell me. It was during the time of grieving my oldest son that I decided to be more like him. I needed to put others first and find a way to help others during their addiction. Again, with my family and a few close friends, we are in the process of starting Corey's Love. We've given it this name because Corey's love was so very strong. If he loved you, he loved you. No matter what, he loved you. I often say people should have more hearts like Corey's. I do believe the world would be a stronger place, a better place. People don't know what to say to me, so I get a lot of, "You're strong." I don't know how you do it. How do you keep on going? If this happened to me, if I lost my child, I wouldn't be able to do it. Well, the answer to that question is, I have another son that I love no more and no less than I loved his brother. In closing, I would just like to ask, if you see someone on the side of the road, that you take a moment, that you pray for them, that you pray for their family, that you pray that God will be with them during their time of suffering. That's someone's child. John 15:12, Jesus tells us this, "My commandment is this, love each other as I have loved you." Thank you for having me. It truly was an honor.
Jessica, thank you to you and your entire family for being here. I was always a big fan of Corey. I don't know how else to say that. I think I took one of those pictures that's scrolling through here, has Corey and Bo in it. And I have a lot of memories of him, and I loved him, and I miss him. Thank you. I wanted to take a moment to recognize some of the sponsors that make this event possible. Taylor has mentioned a lot of those, but I did want to share Carolina Center for Recovery being one of our most time-invested sponsor. Carolina Center for Recovery, Emerald School of Excellence were part of starting this event. Anchor of Hope has had the pleasure of joining and helping to plan. Beyond Sober, Jessica and Leslie, thank you for all of your work and making all of this possible. Pritchard Church, who is always a phenomenal host, thank you guys. Thank you to our AV team. This is streaming live right now on YouTube, and I'd put it on Facebook as well, and it'll be available afterwards if you'd like to share with others. Without the generous donations, the kindness, and time being one of the biggest factors, things like this don't happen, and you don't see so many large events like this because it does take some effort and work. So I'm super, super grateful for everyone who was able to help and make this possible. This year has been an incredibly tough season for the Anchor family. We've lost multiple people to this disease. Specifically some that have hit incredibly close to home. I want to share this stage as we honor a couple who share of the loved ones that they have lost. Both are members and employees for Anchor of Hope and very, very close to the battle lines, as you might imagine, with addiction. Jennifer and Nicole, if you would come and speak, please.
Hi, everybody. I'm Nicole, and you might recognize me from some of the pictures that are flashing behind us. I'm the Women's Program Director for Anchor of Hope, and I'm here to tell you about a tremendous loss that we experienced in our women's program this year. Erin Burton joined our program last year in early August. When she moved in, she was helped by her dad, Joe, and it was honestly the sweetest thing, and they loved each other so much, and she talked about her family, and you could tell the love was reciprocated wholeheartedly. And that's because Erin was a lovable person. She was only about 5 feet tall. She was a little tiny thing with the sweetest voice, and she was full of energy, and that zest for life spilled over into her professional career. She spent her days working with elderly patients at a nursing home, and she was so passionate about providing excellent care to them. And she loved coming home and telling all of us girls the funny stories and the anecdotes and just the silliness that went on throughout the day. Another passion that Erin shared with so many of us in the house, as you know, a house full of women goes, we love shopping and we love makeup and we love all the things. And anytime she had somewhere to go, she loved putting on a fashion show for us and having us critique her outfit, her hair, her makeup. And she loved shopping. And I think she single-handedly kept Temu afloat. Her roommate, who's here this evening, said that her favorite memory was they wanted to put temporary wallpaper up in their room, and they spent hours on Amazon.com just researching wallpaper and wanting to make their room perfect. Erin was also incredibly generous. If anyone in the house ever had a need, ever needed anything, Erin was the first to step up and offer anything that she had. And she had the most contagious laugh. You could just hear it through the whole house. It was just wonderful. In the beginning of January of this year, Erin celebrated 6 months clean. She was at her house meeting, and she spoke of how incredibly proud she was of herself, how her sobriety meant everything to her, as well as her newfound love for going to church. And she had rekindled her relationship with Jesus Christ, and she was so ecstatic about it and just contagious about what was going on in her life. She had a home group that she loved. It met twice a week, and she chaired one of those meetings every week. So on the outside, Erin was working a strong program. I mean, everything looked great. She was in sober living. She was doing all the right things and taking all the right steps. But you see, the disease of addiction, we call it cunning for a reason. It'll lie in wait and lurk in the shadows and rear its ugly head at the most unsuspecting time. And Friday, January 26th, Erin came home in the afternoon, not acting particularly strange, nothing out of the ordinary. She said she had to go to bed early for work, and none of us questioned it. We went about our evening. Most of the girls in the house went to a meeting, and unfortunately, Erin never woke up. For some reason, addiction emerged from the depths of its darkness that day, and sadly, Erin didn't survive. I'm here to tell you that the destruction that addiction leaves in its victorious wake is vast and everlasting, leaving deep, unseen scars of grief on the hearts of many. But seeing so many people here tonight, I just know that we can fight back, and we must fight back. We need to let the light of recovery banish those intrusive thoughts that creep around the edges. By remembering those we have lost, by raising awareness to the devastation that this disease causes, we continue the push forward, ever gaining solid ground on this shifting landscape of drugs and alcohol. Erin was at this event with me last year. She sat in this crowd, and she watched the speakers, and she stood outside at a table with me. She was talking and laughing and loving life. So I'm here to please beg you, to implore you, have a plan, know who you can call, text, email, talk to in any capacity. If you're struggling tonight, please know that there are better days ahead, and don't leave this event without reaching out to someone. I guarantee you the person sitting next to you will be happy to talk to you. I don't want any one of you to have to be up here next year talking about someone in the past tense, because it's just absolutely devastating. Having gained a bright, beautiful angel in Erin, you are tremendously missed. Thank you.
I'm Jennifer, and I'm the Women's Program Director for Anchor of Hope Sober Living. But today I'm here to tell you about a personal story of someone special that I lost. Jay Ara was born February 4th, 1988 in New York and grew up mostly in Dallas, Texas. Sadly, he was taken from us far too soon, only 8 days ago, on August 23rd, 2024, here in Charlotte. To know Jay was to be brought into his energy and light. He loved his family and his friends fiercely. He spoke often of his siblings, his brothers and sisters, and his father in Texas. Jay had 4 kids that were not a part of his daily life, but he loved them quietly and completely from a distance. When we became seriously involved, his love for me radiated to my 2 daughters, and he treated them like gold, never overstepping, and always being a positive role model for both. My daughter Lily especially bonded with him and shared in his love for movies. This summer, he introduced her to his favorite childhood movie, The Little Rascals, and it's been on repeat in our house ever since. Jay and his brothers had a lifelong bond and love of cars, even having a group text where they sent each other videos and pictures every day of cars that they loved. Everywhere he went, he never missed an opportunity to talk with someone about their car, and of course, his own car, his Jaguar, caught a lot of its own attention, and he relished in any conversation to talk about it further. The other love of Jay's life was his passion for bodybuilding. On any given day, you could find him at the gym, not only working out, but also chatting to any random person who wanted to talk. The employees knew him well and often shared in a laugh with him. His pure joy and excitement for the sport was contagious. Jay never shied away from a conversation about his muscles, working out, or nutrition. He excelled as a personal trainer and was known for being an excellent motivator. His many clients usually ended up becoming his friends. Because that was Jay. Anywhere he went, he made friends. Recently, we went to the tire store, and he talked so much to the manager that we walked out with a friends and family discount for no good reason at all, other than Jay had just made a new friend. No one was immune to his charm. Even when he lived in sober living, he loved singing to music at the top of his lungs in the shower to his favorite Gavin DeGraw songs. And anyone who has ever shared a living space knows how annoying that could be. But his daily shower concerts became a sensation, and as Jay's life went on, a welcome daily event in our home as well. Jay loved music in general. If we were somewhere and a song came on that he liked, he would find out what it was and he would play it endlessly, usually learning all the lyrics and singing it for me in the kitchen or in the car. These are memories I will always cherish forever. But for as boisterous as he was, he had a quiet, gentle side too. Ever the gentleman, he never let me open my car door. He always pulled out my chair for me, and after a long day, he would surprise me with roses. He also never missed an opportunity to hold open the door for me or anyone else. He loved to generously overtip at restaurants just to make the server's day. Loudly or quietly, he left a lasting impression on anyone he came in contact with. I could stand here all day and tell you all these wonderful memories and stories about Jay, but we need to also remember that this disease of addiction is cunning, baffling, and powerful. Cunning because even though he had so much going for him, it convinced him he needed to use one last time. Baffling because even though he had so much love and light and energy in his life, Jay couldn't release himself from addiction's grasp. Powerful because that one last choice in that one moment was unfortunately his last. In this past week, so many people have come forward with many amazing stories and anecdotes and pictures of their time with Jay. However, it has also become clear Jay had unresolved trauma, or demons, as he once called it. He could not escape their grasp. Unfortunately, I didn't know how tightly they had entangled him and how deep they went, because these were things he did not want to discuss. But here's the thing. Pain and trauma won't just go away. It will eat at you. It can play treacherous tricks on you, and unfortunately, The more energetic, happy, and outgoing that Jay appeared on the outside, the more it was consuming him on the inside. Jay had plans to be here this evening. He was excited to attend this event. I 100% assure you, this is not the way that I wanted him to share in this experience with me. So I leave you this evening with this message. If you are struggling, if you have demons that are pulling at your heart and threatening your recovery, please, please reach out to someone, anyone, until someone listens, because you are wanted, you are loved, and you are needed. Your mental health matters. Your recovery is important. Don't under any circumstance let this disease win. I'm up here tonight because sadly, Jay lost his battle. However, together, supporting one another, we will win this war. Heaven has gained an amazingly handsome, muscular angel with the sweetest smile and sparkle in his eye. We love you, Jay. Thank you.
Thank you both for your willingness to share, to let people into the pain that addiction causes. You know, both of these stories have shared that people in recovery do return to use, unfortunately. I believe that gives rise to the need for all of those who continue to work in recovery, because it's not an easy job. I started working in recovery because I wanted to be of service. I had no clue what working in recovery meant. I thought I was just going to help people. I had no clue that, sadly enough, sometimes these are the circumstances in how we help. We help the family after the loss. I'd like to honor and recognize those who work in the recovery field. If you do, would you please stand? Thank you for your service. You know, this industry, it never stops. Your phone never turns off. There is no personal time. But what do we get to see? We get to see the magic of recovery. Because what happens when people go to these places and enter into treatment, they enter into sober living, they enter into counseling, they enter an outpatient program, a detox facility, their life changes. If you're a person in recovery and you've had your life change, would you please stand? Thank you all. Grateful for your time. There's a man who's, I don't know, about 100 years sober, and he says, without your recovery, I would not have mine. Some of you probably know who I'm talking about. I'll keep his anonymity. You know, I stand up here and I want to mention, I've got a list of names staring at me of people that I've lost, some funerals that I've done, people that I've sponsored, friends, loved ones. But today I want to take just a short moment just to recognize a couple people that you know, without recovery and without these milestones, you know, these guys just reached a year of recovery. I had a family reach out to me for Aaliyah Smith. I'm not even sure if she's here, but she just hit a year sober. Charles Odell. If Charles is watching, if Charles can get sober, anybody can get sober. He would approve of me saying that. He'll be back in Charlotte on September 6th. That's a warning and a notice. Brandon Conklin just accepted his one-year chip just a couple days ago. He reached out and told me he had just came into Anchor a year ago, and the first time he met me was at this event. I had no clue. I have no clue. I think you guys have no clue the influence that those of us with a little bit of time have when you meet somebody that's desperately seeking to get and stay sober. The influence. Be intentional with your words and with your kindness and with your love. You never know what that's going to do to change somebody's life. Our next speaker, I met Mac when he was working at CCR. Heard a lot of phenomenal things about him, and then I got to meet him and realize all those phenomenal things are true. Mac is a graduate of the Emerald School of Excellence, one of our proud sponsors here. He's a young man in recovery, and to me that is unbelievable because you couldn't tell me anything at his age. Much after his age, you still couldn't tell me anything. And for someone to get sober at such a young age and to have that influence on the crowd and the people that he gets to touch, he gets to work and help people that I could never have a possibility to work with. Mac Harrison, would you please come and share your experience, strength, and hope with us?
Hi, everybody. You guys hear me okay? I hope so. Thank you, Josh, for asking me to speak and giving me that very warm welcome. Wow, there's a lot of people. And I want to just take a moment, if we all could, because I've lost a lot of friends, and I've lost people that haven't been legal adults yet, and I've lost people that have not gotten the chances to experience anything, and that is horrible to me. That is something that I don't think anyone should have to deal with or anyone should have to live with, and I can't even put it into words. I can't fathom that. So if everyone could just take a moment or a minute or however long it is and just sit, because everyone in this room has been through something, lost someone, know someone that's lost someone. So if we could, just take a moment, please. I appreciate you all for being here today. It means a lot to me, and I know it means a lot to the people here, and I appreciate the other speakers too for coming up and being willing to tell that story and tell your experience. It's how we stay together, right? If we all did this alone, if we didn't have events like this, if I didn't have my community, I would not be here. I was talking to someone outside before I came in about community and how important it is, and community is a big part of my story. I will get into a little bit of my own personal story. I was adopted when I was 4 days old from Gulfport, Mississippi. And right after that, I was adopted by two people that I love very greatly that are in the crowd tonight. And for a lot of my life, the things that I remember is a very distinct feeling that I think a lot of us and a lot of us that are in recovery have probably felt. I just felt empty. Like, I remember my whole childhood and my early life consisted of me just something was missing. I had, like I hear a lot of us call it, a void. And it was early on. And some of my earlier memories are trying to fill that void, trying to do anything and everything to make life bearable. And I couldn't find it. I really couldn't. I tried everything, and I tell people this sometimes to give an example of my addiction. But if you put me on a trampoline, I can do a ridiculous amount of things. I was probably 12 or 13, and I remember going on this trampoline in the rain. I remember it was snowing, it would be storms, middle of the night, early in the morning, whatever it was, because that for me was just enough to get me outside of my own head, and just for a little bit. And I craved that, right? And that is what I am, that is who I am as someone who is in recovery. I crave to feel different than the way I do. And I remember I had my first drink at 13, and I remember that feeling that I think a lot of us remember pretty well. Where for the first time in my entire life, from anything I could remember before that, I actually felt good. And that to me is some of the just the overall danger of this disease, is that I needed some form of drug or alcohol or substance or anything that made me feel different for me to feel okay. And I went off the rails, to say the least. Addiction hit me like a freight train. And by 15, my time was spent under a bridge, drinking a fifth of very crappy vodka a day, doing a long list of illicit substances. And my life was hell. It was. If I can picture what hell would look like, I would say that. Every day was miserable. Every night I prayed I didn't wake up anymore. And that was terrible to experience. That was hell. And I turned 15, and I think about I was probably 15 for about 6 months when I hit what we like to call rock bottom. And I remember I had run away from home because it hit me that I could not get high the way I wanted to at home. So here I am, a 15-year-old kid, trying to figure out how to live my life, running away from the two people who loved me more than anyone ever had, right? But I left because I had to get high. I couldn't not. And I remember I had a wild week, to say the least. And I remember sort of coming to on the last day of this bender, and I had lost everything. And I had gone from having a house with my family, food, water, being in school, everything that your average 15-year-old kid in middle school would have. And I went from that to having no home, having no food, no money, no cell phone, I had nothing. And I remember I was in a blackout, and I don't remember exactly what happened, but I remember being on the phone with my parents, and I believe it was my dad who asked me to go to treatment, or he asked me if I was ready, or it was something along those lines, and I, before that point, did not believe that there was a God. I did not believe that God existed, and if he did exist, he sure did not care about me, right? And that's what I believed. And in that moment, I believe I had drank somewhere around half a handle and 20 beers, and I could not even function, but I remember in a perfect way, complete clarity, I came back to reality for half a second, and I remember being asked if I wanted to go to a treatment. I remember saying yes. And that, to me, is why I believe in God. Because there is no way me, a 15-year-old kid who did not care a lick about himself, who did not care a lick about anyone around him, and who had one solution, was going to say yes to giving all of that up. But I did. I remember coming to in a mental hospital a couple days later, and I think it hit me then that what I had said yes to, and I was filled with regret immediately. And I did that time in this psych ward, and I went to a treatment center called Foothills by Red Oak, and after that I joined the Insight program, and I went to Emerald School of Excellence, who is one of the sponsors tonight. And I don't think I could give enough words for these people to say the amount of gratitude that I have, because I am here somehow. Like, I came into recovery at 15 years old on September 19th of 2020, and I did not care. I did not want to be here. I wanted to stop drinking, but I just thought it was drinking. I thought I could still do drugs. And I wanted nothing to do with this. And a little example, on the first day, my first day at Emerald, I found hand sanitizer and I lit the floor on fire with a lighter. And I was quickly greeted by some of the staff over there putting out the fire, and then being there for me for years to come after that. Like, what other community can you go to where you have people that are willing to be there for you no matter the cost, no matter the circumstance, no matter anything? But that, to me, is what recovery is. That is what Charlotte Recovery is. That is what CCR is. That is what Southeastern is. That is what Emerald is. That is what Blanchard is. That is what every single thing here, that is what it is about, right? We are here and we do these things so that these people like me, a 15-year-old kid, can walk in and light your floor on fire and not care about himself, and that we can give these people the resources they need. Because yes, it's funny, I lit the floor on fire, right? But what I didn't say is that I went home that night and I thought about killing myself the whole night, and the next day, and the next day, and the day after that. And then finally, one day came, right? That one day where I went an entire day without the thought of not wanting to be here. And that is a miracle. My life today is absolutely a miracle, right? I'm 19 years old, and I get to sit up here and talk to people about my sobriety. That is insane. That is a miracle. That is God. That is these treatment centers. That is the people around us. That is each and every one of you, that if you look right or left to anywhere, you'll see these people. There's people in this crowd that have personally helped me. There's people in this crowd that I've asked advice and gone to. Along this journey, I've experienced a lot of things, and one of those things being loss and grief and, sadly, overdose. I have seen way too many people go. I recognize a lot of those people up on that screen. And for me to come up here and talk to you guys about my recovery and my story, it almost doesn't seem fair, right? But I know for a lot of us, and I've talked to a lot of people because, well, my community has lost way too many. And I think a lot of us express that same feeling of it not being fair, right? I know for me, I lost someone that was incredibly loving, incredibly caring. He was there for every single person around him, but he was the weirdest kid, right? He was. But every other kid that came into this treatment center was also the weirdest kid. So he got along with everyone perfectly, right? He was there, he showed up, he did not care who you were, he didn't care about that stuff. That stuff didn't worry him, right? But he showed up for those people, and he worked in silence, right? He did not come up to you and tell you, oh, I just helped that person so much. He didn't do it for that. He didn't do it for the credit, right? So I see things like that, and I see a guy like that, and he passed when he was 20 years old. And it makes me think that it's this not fair, right? Why was it him? Sometimes when I get real deep dark, I ask, well, why wasn't it me? I think a lot of us can probably relate to that a little bit. And I'll close with this, but I think we are all here for a reason. I think each and every one of us that are sitting in this crowd, and each and every one of us that have somehow made it past an overdose, or gotten sober, or stayed sober, or put in the work every day, I believe each and every one of us are here for a reason, right? And I am tired. I am furious of how tired I am of losing people and attending funerals. So if you are here, it's for a reason. That is my firm belief. If we are here, it is our purpose, it is our mission to be there for the people around us. It is, right? I was saved. I was. Not by myself, not by my parents, not by my friends. No, I was saved by a God. That is the only explainable thing. And I do not believe that my God saved me for any reason except to try my hardest to save someone around me, or at least try. So I think if you are sitting here in this crowd, we are given a purpose. Our purpose is to help the people around us. And I already said I was going to close on that, but I'm going to close on this. My life is a miracle today. Again, I want to say thank you to Emerald. I want to say thank you to CCR. I want to say thank you to all of these places that I've been and all these places I've gotten to experience. Because today I get to say my sobriety date is September 19th of 2020, and it'll be 4 years and 19 days or something, which is insane, right? That's crazy. It is. I would like to say again, I didn't do that. Not me, him. Right? All right. And with that, y'all, I'll turn it back over to Josh. I appreciate all of you for having me. And again, if I have anything that came out of this, we have a purpose. So don't forget that. Thanks, everybody.
Josh, alcoholic? You know, every time I say that and I recognize myself as someone who suffered from addiction, you know, today I know that because I'm in recovery, you know, I don't have a moral deficiency. Addiction is not a moral deficiency. Good people don't become addicts and alcoholics. Bad people don't become addicts and alcoholic. People become addicts and alcoholics. What that means to me is that, again, together we can. These themes of the Overdose Awareness event today, I've been hosting this event and MC for several years now, and I say a lot of the same things because those same things are very, very powerful. Today I wanted to do something slightly different. As you can see, this chair here, there's a clinical intervention called the empty chair that during my time as a counselor, I had the opportunity to use and to experience. It's something that I personally see as very, very powerful, and it goes along very, very well with our theme this year. I had this chair painted purple for overdose awareness. David painted it in the parking lot. He did a great job. Time to remember. An empty chair is a very powerful visual. When I see this empty chair and I think of the people that it's time to remember, some names come to my mind. Names like Zach Arnold. Names like Ro Patel. Names like Kim Weeks. John McCardle. Hunter Broadway. When you see this chair, I want to invite you just to take just a minute to remember. Because I feel like if you're still here, there's a good chance that you have lost someone to overdose. And as you see this chair and you see this person that you love and you care about, and you get one last time just to say you love them and you care about them. And to know that they are at peace, that they are no longer fighting that battle anymore. As we take this time just to remember. The second part of our theme this year is time to act. As we move on from our loved one that has passed, there's probably another person that we could envision in this chair that is still fighting addiction, that is still lost in the darkness that addiction brings, that is still out there. As we say in the recovery world, they've gone out to the world. The world will pull us into dark and deep places. The world will kill us. Our job, our time to act is now. Our time to be the light. Our time to share what is possible in recovery. Our time to share about that relationship with God. Our time to share how the 12 steps work. Time to share that there is all of the things that alcohol and drugs promise me are found in recovery. All those things I spent years searching for. A family, connection, love, purpose. All of those things are found in a life in recovery. Think of this person, and the time to act in their life is today. Because together we can. This event is one of my favorite and hardest days of the year. Because I write this list of names and I haven't had time really to grieve over the losses of people like Jimmy Bliss. Because recovery doesn't take a break. I get that same question that many have shared up here. How do you do this? How do I not? How do you not do this? Life is too precious. Life is too good to not share what God has done in my life. As we embrace this theme tonight, together we can help others. I would invite you all to form a circle. A circle is a representation of unity It is continuous. It is infinite. There is no break. Those of you who attend 12-step meetings know exactly the power of a circle. And as we form this circle, I would love for us to close in the Lord's Prayer. It might be a little wonky circle. You know, as we close, the most intimate part of this event this evening follows. Emerald School of Excellence continues to sponsor the luminaries that will be in the courtyard. If you've had a chance to write the name of a loved one or one that you would like to remember, those luminaries will be lit. If you'd like the opportunity to write more names or if someone has come to mind, you're welcome to grab one and light those luminaries in the courtyard. It is one of the most profound experiences I've had, just walking through there and remembering all the people, the stories, the events. Somebody loved every person's name out there. Let this circle represent what we cannot do alone, but we can do together. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Thine is the kingdom, power, and glory, forever. Amen. God bless y'all. Love y'all.